Hello and welcome to Bowser Sports. In today's video, we're going to talk about the Penguins' 3-2 loss to the Boston Bruins at home. And as it's on your screen, you can see it was a first shot, first goal of the game that occurred. And it was the 13th time this season the Penguins gave up a first shot, first goal. In today's, what do you want to say, adventure with Matt Greljic pinching, which I'm not sure why any D partner tagging up with Erik Karlsson ever thinks that he should pinch without it being late in the game to, tie a game or something like that, not literally this early into the game. And as a result, Pasternak goes up the right wing of the ice, gets an easy pass, comes through. It's on a breakaway. Erik Karlsson does something to get back, not really, and not in a great position anyway. Can't blame him too much. It was his D partner, and Nedeljkovic had really no chance on the play. So Pens are down 1-0. They go down 2-0, and once again, it's first shot, first goal happens. They're not ready to play. They're making bad reads. They're not connecting their passes from the D to the forwards. Their gap between the D's and the forward is not well. There's no emotion. There's no hitting. There's nothing. And then, Brad Marchand, who starts to lose his footing into the corner, gets a little bit of a bump by P.O. Joseph, and Marchand takes a tumble into the boards, is kind of not looking great, and there's a little bit of motion going on, and the Bruins weren't happy because POJ didn't get penalized. It was he was already falling, and then he kind of just got a little bit nudge at the end, and so the Bruins were hot, and it didn't take but a few shifts later for Kastelik to find Joseph, finish his check when Joseph was engaged with another player, and Joseph appeared to get hit in the shoulder, it looked like, and went down hard. And so he didn't return. So the Bruins are down their aging star captain with Marchand, and the Pens did literally nothing. So they start the game off with no emotion. They do nothing from any kind of tactical perspective to counter the Bruins' offense. And as a result, they're down early, and here we go again. And so there's really not much more to say about this team. They are not well constructed. They don't have enough defensemen who are mobile, who can make plays, who are tough around the net. They don't have good teammates, let's be honest. When POJ is getting attacked and everyone knows the Bruins going to go after him, and he gets injured and literally no one does anything, it makes me question about the camaraderie of this team on the ice. It takes Sidney Crosby to get engaged. It takes Malkin to get engaged. Those are, guys who are over 35, who are your offensive franchise superstars, and they're the ones who have to get engaged. It was a pretty sad showing from the team from that perspective. Little attention post game made to that. And so we're going to see what happens, tomorrow against the Leafs. They've got another afternoon game, national televised on TNT at 1 o'clock. And so we're going to see what happens. POJ is most likely going to miss this game. So we'll see if, Kolyachonok or is it going to be, Ryan Graves coming back in to the lineup? We're not sure why Kolyachonok is not getting a start yet after being claimed off to waivers. He's a young guy. He needs to play. And at this point, this team is not a playoff team. He needs to play. The Pens honestly need to move on soon with Grelchick. We've got to get Pickering up here at some point. Get him some NHL action. They can demote, Pickering at the end of the year. The trade deadline, they can do some paperwork to make him eligible. But they got to get him up, second, third pairing, get him up here. I still will say that Carlson needs to be moved. It's just the unfortunate is the salary cap is what it is this year. It goes up next year. You may find a taker, but the Pens are probably gonna have to, take 25 to 50% as a salary retention, and that is not something Dubas is a fan of, especially rebuilding. He wants to be able to use his cap space and retaining salary stuff to able to get draft picks and prospects back. So I don't see this being anything that's going to happen. Excuse me. So as a result, I think the Pens defense is going to be continuing to struggle, continue to make the wrong decisions with the puck, continually wrong decisions to pinch or carry the puck over instead of dumping it in. There are fundamental things in the Mike Sullivan system that this group of players and defensemen specifically have not been able to get straight. And let's just be honest, it's also not just the defensemen, it's the forwards. Brian Rust continually gets banged around. He goes to the hard areas of the net on the ice, but the guy is falling down late in the game. The Pens are trying to come back and tie it late, 3-2. He gets easily outmuscled, loses his footing. He's on the ice. And so, he's really a second, third line player on a good team at this point. And so, he's getting first line right wing minutes because they have no one else, because Raquel's got to play left wing because they have no one else who can slot into that role. And even in the minors, let's be honest, they don't have that guy. They don't have a top line winger. I think Rutger McGorty is going to be a second, third line left wing, maybe right wing if he's on his off wing, but most likely left. He's playing much better over the last 2+ months, but I don't think, at least in the next 2 years, is he a first line winger. Now, he might be forced into that because of who knows what happens with Tristan Bras as he go from center to left wing, what happens with Ville Koivu, and what happens with Vasily Ponomarev, if he's going to stay at center, though I think he's more of a fourth line center and not a third line center. Not really sure he's a winger either, based on the limited action that we've seen him this year. He seems to be more of your, defensive guy who's going to play back. And really, what was the point of Noel Acciari? Like, the guy skates around, he doesn't finish his checks, he's not making good passes, he's fumbling passes that get passed to him. It's really time for Dubas to try to find a taker for Acciari. He's coming up with 1 more left on his contract. It's $2 million. That should be more than doable for a team who's on a playoff run and wants a veteran fourth line guy who's got that PK next to his name, that he's a good penalty killer. Though if you watch his performance, his best thing is he blocks shots. And maybe teams value that more than I do, but the Pens need to get Ponomarev into the role, into the fourth line. And I do just want to tip cap. I think Kevin Hayes had another outstanding performance with, where he's been this year and last year, or even the year before. I thought he played again really well. He's playing, what I call sectional hockey, of when he's in a PK role or if he's playing on the power play, it allows him to focus on that zone. And so he's, I think, been playing really well for his role. Again, take it into the segment of his role and what he's being asked to do. He's being asked to be a vocal leader. He's being asked to produce some in his limited minutes and his limited ability with skating. I thought he has moments where you can see that burst coming from him. And so, I think Kevin Hayes probably is your third line center, even into next year, unless you can find someone, acquire a younger winger who's, like a Ryan McLeod in Buffalo, which would be ideal, since the Sabres are not playing well. I think McLeod would be an ideal third line center for this team. And so we'll see what the Pens do. We are, days away from the trade deadline. The Pens really don't have much to move. Grillchick, I doubt. Jari, I doubt they're going to be able to move Graves or any other left defenseman, not named Owen Pickering. Highly doubt Carlson's going to move. I don't see any of the big three obviously going with Crosby, Malkin, and Letang. Maybe Ned goes as a result of the Pens want to get Morris off to the AHL at some point, and the only way to really do that is get someone out of the AHL up to the NHL, be it Tristan Jarry or Philip Larson. So we shall see what happens. But we are got another game tomorrow. It's the Leafs. It'll be good to see how the Pens stack up in a back-to-back against the Maple Leafs, who have not been playing, I don't believe, that great again, but that's typical Toronto. They get all the headlines, and then come playoff time or down the stretch, they start to shirk. So we shall see what happens. But with that, thank you for listening. Please give us a like, drop a comment, share it, subscribe. Until next time, keep your head up and the stick on the ice.